Copyright disclaimer. Under Title 17 U.S.C. Section 107, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing nonprofit, educational, or personal use, tips the balance in favor of fair use. Okay, this is from Goodreads. You guys are going to love this. So this is me making commentary or slapstick, basically. L. Ron Hubbard quotes, you know, the black-tooth, pot-belly, drug addict, failed military man who said the best way to make money is to start a religion, and that kissing 7-year-old girls passionately on the lips should be accepted by the 7-year-old girl. Because you know why? Because she remembers all of her sexual experiences from past lives. Sounds like a pedophile to me. Doesn't it sound like that to you guys? Ideas and not battles mark the forward progress of mankind. L. Ron Hubbard. When reading a book, be very certain that you never go past a word you do not fully understand. The only reason a person gives up a study or becomes confused or unable to learn is because he or she has gone past a word that was not understood. L. Ron Hubbard. Basically, just go look up a word in a dictionary like the rest of the world does. To give, to love in spite of all, is the secret of greatness, and may very well be the greatest secret in this universe. L. Ron Hubbard. Now you guys know, I know, and you know that he didn't come up with that himself. And how did it go with Quentin, huh, L. Ron Hubbard? Or Mary Sue, who you let take the fall for you, and she allegedly went to prison? You don't get rich writing science fiction. If you want to get rich, you start a religion. There you go. L. Ron Hubbard. One's attitude toward life makes every possible difference in one's living. You know, you don't have to study 1,000 ancient books to discover that fact. But sometimes it needs to be pointed out again that life doesn't change so much as you. The day when you stop building your own environment, when you stop building your own surroundings, when you stop waving a magic hand and gracing everything around you with magic and beauty, things cease to be magical. Things cease to be beautiful. Well, maybe you've just neglected somewhere back in the last few years to wave that magic hand. L. Ron Hubbard. A culture is only as great as its dreams, and its dreams are dreamed by artists. L. Ron Hubbard. I guess that's why Lara FM was not allowed to follow or pursue her artistic dreams. Or Serge Delmar, whom is an artist. I guess that's why they're not allowed to pursue their artistic abilities and artistic talents when they were in Scientology. Hubbard. Choice is the keynote of self-determinism. To determine anything, you must have the choice to determine. I guess they must do that in ethics handling. Hubbard. Is that what everybody does in the RPF when they ask questions? To determine anything, you must have the choice to determine. Huh. That's why everybody's in ethics, huh? Like the children. Choice to determine means that you must have the power of decision. Decision and time have a lot in common. When we have clean, clear decision, we have clean, clear time. And when we have indecision, there is an unclarity about time. L. Ron Hubbard. Happiness and strength endure only in the absence of hate. Huh. Is that why you hated black people so much, L. Ron? Or hated gay people? Is that why? To hate alone is the road to disaster. To love is the road to strength. To love in spite of all is the secret of greatness, and may very well be the greatest secret in this universe. Huh, that must be why you forced that elder gentleman to push a peanut with his nose on the free winds, around and around in a circle. Because you know why? Because he was standing up for his family, trying to protect his family. Made him push that peanut around until his nose was bleeding. And there was a trail of blood all over the free winds. Guess that's what love is, huh? The wise man tests before he talks. Well, you wouldn't know about that, LRH. The critic but follows the fad of a cynical and apathic age. What is generally missed is that my writing financial research. What, like reading all of the great philosophical books and stealing it for yourself? Is that what you're talking about, LRH? Remember the inversions, you guys. Always remember that. Freedom is for honest people. Well, I guess that wasn't for you then, huh, LRH? Because you were wanted for fraud in France, Belgium. Greece chased you out of their waters. Morocco didn't want you around. I know something happened in South America. I just can't remember it right now. Freedom is for honest people. No man who is not himself honest can be free. He is his own trap. No, what was a trap, and I've been talking about traps all day long, what was a trap, LRH, was you. Every policy you ever wrote in Scientology, that's the trap. That's the black magic, isn't it? Every time I turn around and I see people in traps, like the Kingston tribe cult, Children of God, allegedly, satanic cults, P. Diddy, white parties, it's always about the trap. You can check in, but you can't check out, just like Hotel California. More rubbish. A civilization is as great as its dreams. You know, the dreams that they lock up and keep the children in a web? Yeah, those dreams. There's actually a child's movie out about that where they steal the children's dreams. I don't know what the name of it is. And its dreams are dreamt by artists. Oh, you sure wanted to be an artist, didn't you, huh, LRH? Scientology does not teach you. It only reminds you. For the information was yours in the first place. Oh, how profound. Where have I heard this one before? Sounds very Buddhist, doesn't it, you guys? Doesn't it sound like the Upanishads or some of the Eastern philosophers? Anything you shun will have won. Oh, everybody, ooh, ah, isn't that profound? I'll not always be here on guard. The stars twinkle in the Milky Way, and the wind sighs for songs across the empty fields of a planet a galaxy away. You won't always be here, but before you go, whisper this to your sons and their sons. The work was free. Keep it so. Everybody all together. Ooh, ah, wasn't that so profound, so amazing? He must have written that in one of his drug-induced hazes. The work was free? The work was free. What exactly does that mean? Writing for a penny a word is ridiculous. If a man wants to make $1 million, the best way would be to start his own religion. So we had that twice. You know they don't have the bad ones in here, of course. Learning locked in mildewed books is of little use to anyone, and therefore of no value, unless it can be used. Wow, that's so deep. All real difficulty stems from no responsibility. Doesn't that sound like LRH? Since all the kids were doing the production? For responsibility is not fault. It is recognition of being cause. Isn't that great, you guys? So he's basically stealing from the Hermetic principles and the law of attraction. You know, cause and effect. But he inverted everything. Because, you know, when a child gets raped, they're pulling it in. Bureaucracy is trouble everybody has. It's a system evolved so that nobody in it is ever responsible for anything. Like pedophiles? Like pedophiles, huh? Because that's definitely, LRH did create, allegedly by himself, created some type of a bureaucracy, like his own little country that it exists out of all the other countries' boundaries and can do anything it wants to do. Doesn't have to follow the laws of that particular country. Does not have to turn in child rapists, murderers, or anyone committing felonies. Wow, this sounds like so unique, you guys. A man is known by the company who he keeps. Wow, doesn't that sound original, everybody? That sounds so original. Like no one else has said that before, have they? Never heard that before. Hold on. Stress the right of the individual. You know, like the individual rights that are completely ripped away from everyone. Individuality that is erased from everyone. That's why everyone has to walk around in the same uniform. Women cannot even be addressed as madame, ma'am, or miss, or Mrs. Stress the right of the individual to select only what he desires to know, to use any knowledge as he wishes, that he himself owns what he has learned. Stupid. At a price, you guys. It's true, replied Doris with sniff in Bessie's direction, to make her sensible of a victory, even if a minor one. It is amazing how so many people go insane. He seemed to have an obsession with that, didn't he? Psychosis, insanity, maybe because he had a little bit of it. One day a man is a normal, friendly husband, and the next he suddenly becomes a raging schizoid. He's talking about himself, you guys know, right? Projection. And slays his wife and himself as well. The result of what cause? Why? Perhaps he chanced to find some schoolgirl. There he goes with the girls again, you guys. Sounding like a pedophile? Why? Perhaps he chanced to find some schoolgirl, treasure of another beau, who had been his greatest rival, and is stunned to discover that she secretly retains this. But usually the matter is not so simple, you know. Next to nothing may happen, jarring awake some sleeping monstrosity in a man's complex mental machinery, and turning from him, a sane person, to a mentally sick individual. Project much? It is wholly impossible to say when a man is sane, for she tittered scarce. One of us is normal. You mean it might happen to any of us? Of course, said Doris, charmed by all this interest. One moment we are seated here behaving normally, and the next some tiny thing, a certain voice, a certain combination of thoughts, may throw out the balance wheel of our intellects, and we become potential inmates for asylums the rest of our lives. No, not one of us knows when the world will cease to be a normal, ordinary place. You know, no one ever knows when he goes insane. He supposes it is the world altering, not himself. Rooms become peopled with strange shapes, and sounds distort themselves into awful cries, and poof, we are judged insane. Poof, said Jacob, feeling weak and ill. He didn't like cats. You guys think maybe Hubbard's talking about himself here? And apparently there's one of the sect checks. One of the sect checks, I forget which one it is, was designed specifically to make people go psychotic. And I remember someone explaining that they inverted things in the sect check to purposely make a person go crazy. And some people that had gone through that sect check, fortunately they did not go crazy, but it was very torturous for them. Man is an endangered species. Wow, ooh, ah. Sounds like Jesus talking. Man should tarry is in a Man said Terry is an endangered species. How to drive a writer crazy. 1. When he starts to outline a story, immediately give him several stories, just like it, to read, and tell him 3 other plots. This makes his own story and his feeling for it vanish in a cloud of disrelated facts. 2. When he outlines a character, read excerpts from stories about such characters, saying that this will clarify the writer's ideas, as this causes him to lose touch with the identity he felt in his character by robbing him of individuality. Oh, what does that sound like? He is certain to back away from ever touching such a character. 3. Whenever the writer proposes a story, always mention that his rate, being higher than other rates of writers in the book, puts up a bar to his stories. 4. When a rumor has stated that a writer is a fast producer, invariably confront him with the fact with great disapproval, as it is, of course, unnatural for one human being to think faster than another. 5. This is rubbish. 5. Always correlate production and rate. Huh, like the children producing, huh? Stats, anyone? Saying that it is necessary for the writer to do better stories than the average for him to get any consideration whatever. 6. It is a good thing to mention any error in a story bought, especially when that error is to be editorially corrected. as this makes the writer feel that he is being criticized behind his back, and he wonders just how many other things are wrong. Seven, never fail to warn a writer not to be mechanical, as this automatically suggests to him that his stories are mechanical. This is so stupid. And as he considers this a crime, wonders how much of his technique shows through, and instantly goes to much trouble to bury mechanics very deep, which will result in laying the mechanics bare to the eye. 8. Never fail to mention and then discuss budget problems with a writer, as he is very interested. Does that make any sense, you guys? No. 9. By showing his vast knowledge of a field, an editor can almost always frighten a writer into mental paralysis, especially on subjects where nothing is known anyway. He just told you who he was right there. He knew nothing. 10. Always tell a writer plot tricks, as they are not his business. Men who know are secure, and men who don't know believe in luck. Imagine all these people just following this idiot blindly. You don't get rich writing science fiction. If you want to get rich, you start a religion. They put this in here 3 times. I guess, we didn't get the first 2 times. A bitter hatred was lifting his lip from his teeth. A culture is only as great as its dreams, and its dreams are dreamed by artists. Put that in here twice as well. Scientology is a dream stealer. Ask Philip Gale about that, but oh wait, Philip Gale is no longer with us. Force yourself to laugh, and you'll soon find something to laugh about. A being causes his own feelings. Splurge on it. Imagine all these ignoramus. I mean, I don't mean to be mean, you guys, but the idea that everyone's following this idiot, it's just sad. It's sad. It really is sad. They're handing over their life force, their energy, because this is energy harvesting. Harvesting labor from children. Sexual abuse is also a different form of energy harvesting. Physical abuse, sleep deprivation, all harvesting energy. I will leave a link in the description box. Like and subscribe if you choose. Otherwise, have an amazing day or night wherever you are. Peace.